I drove a Cadillac. Well, Elvis Pete had it all. They say he was the king, but look how happy he was when he split.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Am I ready? Are you ready? Are you ready
Are you
for
ready?
I think so. Are you ready for your daily dose? Some days more than others. Are you ready for your daily dose of radio rehab? Yeah, well, I hope you said yes.
I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm
good.
ready.
Hey, folks.
You know what? Today,
Yeah.
I'm a little more ready than usual. So,
Hey, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean on that.
No
Okay?
problem.
Yeah. Folks, welcome into 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into this edition of Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. He is Jimmie Bryant, Ph.D. That means he produces, he hosts, and he directs. He produces live radio. You got to love live radio, don't you?
It's really awesome.
Well, yeah,
I like
you,
it.
you
I love it.
You never know. It keeps you. It keeps the adrenaline pumping.
It does.
Sometimes things don't work out exactly like you think they're going to work out, exactly as planned, and sometimes you have to come up with a program in you get a long time, 30, 40 seconds.
and I think that's a part of the charm.
So I think we need to talk about being authentic.
I do. That sounds great.
I think, how do you live? We want to live authentically, right? We want to live authentic lives. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Being your authentic self, because it's got a lot of benefits to it. And if you practice being self-aware, being intentional, being vulnerable, all of those things can help you live an authentic life. We're going to talk about being authentic, living authentically this evening.
I think out there in the world, in pop culture, I think that term gets
Authenticity, authentic.
I think that gets thrown out, and I think it'll do us some good to chew on it a little today.
We're going to bat it around this evening here on Strategies for Living. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being with us here on Strategies, presented by Azalea Cleaners. We're also brought to you by the Robinson Film Center. We're brought to you by Pintail Roofing, by Learning Rx, by Cannabis with Love, Hempress, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport, and we're brought to you by the Shreveport Little Theater. Back in a moment, we're going to talk about ways to live an authentic life this evening here on Strategies. Be right back. Chronic pain, anxiety, problem sleeping? Think you've tried it all? Wait. If you haven't tried CBD oil from Cannabis with Love, well, you haven't. All CBD oil is not created equal. Cannabis with Love is all about helping people get better. 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport. CannabisWithLove.com. Our oil is THC-free, organically grown in Colorado, and cold-pressed, no chemicals, no GMOs. Now, we hear it all the time. This stuff is amazing. No, it's CBD oil from Cannabis with Love, the first store in Shreveport Bossier to introduce CBD oil. We're all about helping people get their lives back. CBD oil can change your life. You'll find oils, edibles, and more, all with CBD added. People tell us this oil makes a difference for pain, for sleep, for seizures, for anxiety, for cancer treatment, Alzheimer's, and much more. Cannabis with Love, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport, CannabisWithLove.com. Hey, welcome in. Welcome into 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into Strategies for a Living. Jimmie, Bryant, David McMillian. You know, being authentic, that's something that gets bandied about a lot.
It does.
Especially, I think, in terms of social media, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And, you know, it's interesting because how easy is it there to filter out those, strain out those parts of ourselves and parts of our lives that, maybe we're not too proud of.
I'd say it's
Yeah.
very easy.
Yeah.
One of the easiest places to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that can be very addictive to, to put the best foot forward there. And then there's of course, the people pleasers. Inadvertently, we end up maybe changing some parts of ourselves in an attempt to make other people happy. I think people pleasing is a real thing.
It is, yeah.
But, here's the thing, not being authentic, not living authentically can impact your mental well-being, but it can also, I think, impact your physical well-being over the long term. So I think it's important for us to take a look at, examine, put under the microscope. Okay, what does this thing called authenticity involve, and how do we do it? Leo Buscaglia, you recognize that? I mean, he wrote a lot of books back in the late 60s and 70s. He was known as the Love Doctor.
Okay.
Yeah. He says the easiest thing to be in the world is you. The most difficult thing to be is what other people want you to be. Don't let them put you in that position. I think that's great advice.
That's
from
wonderful.
Dr. Buscaglia. So what does it mean? What is this thing called being authentic, living authentically mean? Suggest that you're being your true self in relationships. That you're acting, you're behaving, you're feeling in ways that are going to reflect your values. And what people are seeing on the outside reflects what's going on the inside, right?
Right.
I think that's authenticity. The path to living authentically really starts when you make a decision to embrace the journey of self-awareness, of intention, and of freeing yourself from the notion that I got to get others on board. I got to get others to agree, or I've got to get others to approve of the choices that I'm making. So, authenticity then involves being in tune with your own values and passions.
I hear some mindfulness
in
there.
It involves being fulfilled. It involves navigating through life with purpose. It certainly then involves prioritizing.
Okay.
What brings you peace? What brings peace into your life? And then I think also tenacity and flexibility. It doesn't mean shutting yourself off from other people's opinions or other people's advice entirely. It's a balance. How many times do we talk about balance here on Strategies? So it's I think it's a delicate balance between an openness to feedback and particularly constructive feedback to help us grow, but also balancing that out, not allowing that feedback to dictate one's perception of themselves or their abilities or the possibilities that might exist beyond what other people are able to see. I think it's important to recognize that it may be easier to be more authentic around some people than maybe other people. Have you found that to be true?
I think there's something to that. I do.
Yeah. You there may be different relationships where you're more authentic. There may be different relationships where you're less authentic. You know, you may be your true self. You may be your authentic self with your best friend, but might not be as comfortable sharing your true self with, let's say, people that you know through work.
Sure, I think that's a great example.
Or people you go to church with and you don't know very well. You see them on occasion, but you don't know them. So there may be some a gap there, if you will.
Right.
But living authentically takes effort, and there's a process, and it I think it takes patience with ourselves, and so when we come back from break, let's talk about some strategies.
Yeah.
Because that's what we are, strategies for living, right? So what are some strategies that we can move towards living a more authentic life? And I think
I like that there are strategies for moving toward it.
Yeah.
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 And what I was going to ask you,
I think it's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
but you're just addressing something that I had loaded up to ask you later, and so I'm excited to go there.
All right, we are talking authenticity this evening here on Strategies for Living. How do we get there? How do we achieve it? That's what we're talking about. Well, we're also talking about the Robinson Film Center. Talk about an authentic place. Yes, the Robinson Film Center. They are 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. Authentically, they are a jewel in our community. They truly are. There's no
one
place,
of a kind.
No place like the Robinson. Of course, you've got you've got a lot going on during the summer, including the summer film camps. I think you got movie monster camp at LSUS. Students in grade 3 through 8 starting next week as part of the as part of summer film camps. I think the end of June you've got suspense camp, which is for grades 6 through 12, and then in July, the 10th through the 14th, you've got movie musical camp Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's great.
Grades 3 through 12. So you want to find out anything about those summer camps, go to robinsonfilmcenter.org. You can sign up there, find out more information. And you can also, while you're there, find out what's playing right now. You can find out about Abby Singer's Bistro, full-service bistro and bar on the second floor of RFC.
It's a gym. Good eating.
So look, you want to join the crowd, join the fun here. Become a member of Robinson Film Center. Get discounts on movies, get concession upgrades, get bistro deals, and much more. RFC 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport, robinsonfilmcenter.org.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back into 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Jimmie Bryant. There's an authentic producer for you. David McMillian. We're talking about living a more authentic life this evening here on Strategies for Living. And we're going to give some strategies. We are Strategies for Living, right?
That's right.
So, William Shakespeare, no legacy is so rich as honesty. I think that fits.
It's beautiful.
That fits under authenticity. E. Cummings, it takes courage to grow up and become who you truly are. And growing up, I mean, I know that we think of that maybe as a particular date. When we turn 18, when we turn 21
or 25,
or 20, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. But I think it's a lifelong process. I think growing up,
I think you're right,
is a lifelong process.
Yeah.
And I mean, I say this often, but if I live to be 105, I want to remain a curious student.
Yeah.
Right into the death experience,
Yeah.
So, how do I get there? How do I keep growing up? How do I keep working towards a more authentic life? One strategy is to embrace silence.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that's there's so much noise in our world, isn't there?
And more each day.
Yeah. There's so much going on around us. There's so much going on in our lives. There's so many different perspectives coming at us from so many different angles, right?
Right.
So it can be very easy with the noise that is all around us to lose track of what makes you. What makes me, me. And it can get swept away with the crowd. So giving ourselves and actually embracing silence, setting aside quiet time on a routine basis to be with your thoughts can help you get back to your roots and recognize what's important to you. In my lifetime, Jimmie, I'm 66 years old, and I grew up I'm born in 1956, and so grew up in the 60s were strange because they were kind of, when I first became aware, late 50s, early 60s, I first became aware, everything kind of felt like Mayberry. Leave it to Beaver. I mean, I don't know. We were all in black and white. And what I mean by that specifically is, I've said before, I grew up in a grocery store, right?
Right.
But on Sunday, everything, the grocery store and everything shut down. Everything closed. Sunday truly was, when I was little, a day of rest.
Okay.
And I think that was wonderful. I think it was maybe when I was 8 or 9 or 10, somehow. What would I have been? 3rd grade, 4th grade, somewhere along in there.
Right. Yeah.
When they repealed I think they called them, if I'm remembering right, the blue laws, and things like grocery stores where my father worked could stay open 7 days a week, and so they were open on Sundays now.
Okay.
And I remember that, that through time, over time, more, at first it was just stuff like the grocery stores and things like that opened up on Sunday, and then more and more and more. And then you had the malls come in and all of that. And it's like, wow, the noise level increased exponentially. But we can still personally set aside, even as noisy as it is out there, we can set aside quiet time to be with your thoughts and help us get back to that root place within us and discover that authenticity. I mean, we need to mute the noise.
Right.
And it can be a fantastic way to connect with yourself or reconnect with yourself and gain clarity. So one strategy would be actually to embrace silence. And going with that, directly, I think related to that, I would have to say, setting an intention to be more self-aware.
Okay.
You checking in with yourself. When you're talking to someone that you care about, check in with yourself. Are you glossing over what's really happening in your life? How many times do we say, somebody says, how you doing? I'm fine, just fine.
Right.
Well, I may not be real fine at the moment. Maybe we want to check in with ourselves. And if it's somebody that I really have a connection with, I really care about, am I really communicating? But that communication with the other person starts with communicating within myself. That makes sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
So being self-aware, if we're constantly putting on that front, if we're constantly putting on the mask and not saying how we truly feel, then maybe consider what you could say instead. You may take a moment to consider why you're not being, honest and forthright. So connect to the self. Be self-aware. That's something we need to get intentional about, I think.
So are we talking in this silent time? Are we talking meditation? I mean,
we certainly could be.
Okay.
But I think meditation is a word that maybe I think meditation sometimes might scare some people. Oh, well, I can't meditate. I can't do it right. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is, you really can't do it wrong. But meditation is just a label. What meditation really is about silencing, getting still and silencing the noise out there and the noise in here. Because, part of what goes on that mirrors all of the noise out there, and we talk about the incessant thoughts that can chatter and go on.
Right. That's right.
If we practice quote unquote meditation, if you want to use that label, but you don't have to use that label. Just practice, what we're talking about this evening, getting still, getting into a place of non-judgment within myself, and just instead of hooking into my thinking, just observing my thinking, just observing as it passes by. There's a real value to that, I think. I think I would be remiss if I didn't add the strategy that, you may want to consider getting therapy or coaching, because being authentic is complicated. It can be a complicated process, and if you've been changing your behaviors or your feelings to try to be in line with others, it can be hard all of a sudden to say, this is what makes me feel more real. And if I'm really struggling with that, therapy or coaching can be a very, very good strategy to help you kind of get focused on being authentic. Vulnerability, learning to be vulnerable. Sometimes we don't show our authenticity because we're afraid to be vulnerable. It can be hard for some people and scary to open up,
right?
And show who, your true feelings, your true thoughts. But that vulnerability, being willing to do that, can be so rewarding that it's one of those risks that can pay great dividends if you're willing to take it. I mean, there's gold there beyond imagining. And as we said earlier, you may feel safer with some people than with others.
Sure.
So take the walls down a little bit more with them first. Who are my safe people, right?
Right.
And if you get positive reactions, then that can give you the confidence to maybe be a little bit more authentic with others.
Right. Right.
And push that forward. I think intentionality, I mentioned this earlier, but being intentional. Who do I want to invest my time in? What do I want to invest my time in? What are, as I'm going within and learning my values, what are my core values? And then, are there activities in my life, are there people in my life that really align with my core values? Are you making a commitment, to some people based on other people's expectations, external expectations?
Yeah.
If you put on a front or fake, I fake enjoyment when I'm engaging with particular activities or particular friends, you might want to ask yourself, why do I do that? And if there's anything that you could change, are you willing to change anything to be more yourself? Henry David Thoreau, be yourself, not the idea of what you think somebody else's idea of yourself should be.
Right.
Yeah. Be yourself,
Makes a lot of sense.
not the idea of what you think somebody else's idea of yourself should be. Carl Jung, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. We're talking authenticity this evening here on Strategies for Living, becoming authentic, and we're talking strategies to be able to do that. Sometimes you just got to get away. A great getaway is the theater, and we've got American theater at its best right here, and we've had it for 101 plus years. I'm talking about the Shreveport Little Theater, of course, and the Shreveport Little Theater's summer musical just around the corner, starting July the 21st, runs through the 30th, and it is, of course, Cole Porter's Anything Goes. Laura Beeman Nugent is the director and choreographer. Adam Philly is the music director. Need to go ahead and get your tickets now because this thing's going to sell out. ShreveportLittleTheater.com. Check out the 23-24 102nd season while you're there. Hi. Erin just wanted in there, didn't she?
She had to get in there.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, anyway, let's wrap this up. Go to ShreveportLittleTheater.com. Check out the 23-24 season. Consider getting a season ticket. How do you do that? ShreveportLittleTheater.com. And welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Jimmie Bryant, David McMillian. We are talking about authenticity today and strategies for becoming more authentic.
That's right.
Do you know when is it easiest to be authentic? Do you think? When is it the when and who? I guess would be the questions that I would ask.
I'm not sure I could answer who. I don't know who. I was inclined to say when you're alone. That was my gut, answer when you first asked me.
Yeah. I think it's easier to be authentic with people that you feel genuinely connected to.
Right.
And so when you feel that, that's a place. I mean, authenticity happens inside relationship, right? The relationship with yourself, because that's the relationship. Your relationship with yourself is the one that sponsors every other relationship we have in the world.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, we do feel a connection with some people more than other people. When that happens, those are the relationships where I can hone my authenticity. And one of the ways that I think we can hone our authenticity best is questions. So when you feel really connected to somebody, take the time to truly get to know them and help them better understand you. So ask questions in those kinds of relationships. That's fertile soil for authenticity. That's those,
This makes sense.
Those are the fertile soil. That's the fertile soil within which we can grow authenticity. So in those types of relationships, try moving beyond the surface and, make significant connection with those people that you feel that genuine connection with. So questioning, asking questions, I think can be extremely important. Now, that we are so sometimes we are so into the things, the stuff, right?
Right.
And so one of the strategies is be more focused on connection instead of possessions. Because close relationships, what are they built on? They're built on trust over time.
Over time.
Yeah. And, that's something that, that's so much more valuable. The relationships and the connections we have with our close friends, our family, that's what's truly valuable, not the number of zeros behind your bank account.
Right.
I mean, that's nice. That's great.
Or your address.
Or your address, where you live. Yeah. Or the, do I have the right kind of car that I'm driving? Well, all of that stuff. Bottom line is this: there are very few tangible things that really add any true and real value in your life. It's the investing in people pays the real dividends in life. Life is about experiences, it's about memories, it's about laughter, it's about love, it's about happiness, it's about healing. And we do that with people and within people, within relationships. And so that's the fertile soil.
That's beautifully said.
So we've got to be willing to really focus on connections instead of stuff, instead of our possessions. I remember a song years ago. I think it was a country song. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. That's a strategy, though. We got to be humble. Be willing to authenticity and humility go hand in hand, I think. I mean, think about it. We didn't come into the world. We weren't born, bragging about the things that we've accomplished, our achievements. And we didn't come out of the womb trying to conquer the world.
Right.
We developed an ego, and that took time. I jokingly say we're all born Buddhist because at first, we don't perceive ourselves separate from stuff or people. I see my mommy. I think my mommy and me are connected. The baby bed and me are connected. I am the world, and I'm one with everything. That's kind of, we're all born Buddhist, and our ego then kicks in, over time and says, no, you're an individual, and you're separate from, all of these other people.
Right.
And so we gotta, we've got to be aware that ego is there, and that takes some humility, because your ego has learned how to prop all of us up, and but our ego may be one of the blocks, one of the huge blocks, if you will, to being authentic in our lives. So, how do we get past that? Well, number one, knowing that ego is there in operation 24/7, just being aware of it can make a difference. And then
ego doesn't sleep.
It doesn't sleep. And then being humble, having humility. It all starts really with a willingness to take a step back and observe what's going on within me. And we talk about how all the busyness outside, there can be a lot of busyness inside too.
Right.
And to be aware of that, and that ego creates a lot of chatter in our lives. So, act, don't react. You can't live an authentic life if you're constantly riding, the roller coaster of what's everybody else doing? What should I be doing? Right.
Right.
Instead of following along, what is it that you want? What is it that aligns with who you truly are? Instead of basing your reality in reaction, I've got to look at all of my social media and see what all my quote unquote friends are doing, instead of expressing what I truly think and feel. And basically, it's your life. It's not somebody else's life. It's your life, our life. We gotta live it. I would say lead with love. That's a strategy. Lead with love. Give love first. It's a perk, I think, of living more authentically is, learning to give from your core gifts, all those qualities that make you uniquely you. Share those. That's love. When you give of yourself in that way, you're honoring and lifting everyone and everything that you come into contact with, everything that you touch. So what am I waiting for? Give somebody a compliment. Take the lead in organizing that dinner with friends. Surprise a loved one with a gift. And and the gift doesn't have to be anything except a note on the bathroom mirror or something.
Don't have to break the bank.
Yeah, you don't. It doesn't even have to be. Doesn't even have to be the bank. The bank doesn't even have to have a consideration. Our time, giving of ourself and giving of our time. Right. That's love. I probably should have ended with that one, but I'm going to end with this one instead. A strategy for authenticity is to embrace my imperfect self, embracing my imperfections. And I think social media kind of pushes this. I don't want to, I think social media is not all terrible. Sure. There's some great things about it, but there's also some things that come with it, and we've talked about that. Am I trying to be perfect on Facebook and Instagram and all of that stuff? Perfect career, perfect appearance, perfect family, all of that. the fact of the matter is we're human. Embrace those imperfections. Accept the messiness and the complexity of reality. This is life. This is what we have, and that's those imperfections can be some of the most authentic parts of you.
Right.
Your wildness, your wild heart, what makes you you, what makes you beautiful. So I hope some of these strategies have made sense.
I think that was just fine to close on.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Talking about being more authentic, living our authentic life, becoming our authentic self. Talking about it this evening here on Strategies. Be right back. I like that. That's kind of mirrors the world that we're all in right there. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
Welcome back.
Absolutely.
Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Jimmie Bryant, David McMillian, talking about living our authentic life. Did we give some decent strategies this evening?
I think we did, and I think in the break we talked about
took a lot of planning on this. Took a lot of planning for this program, right?
I tell you what, it's universal. No one's perfect, and it's foolish to think that you're just there.
Yeah,
and it's okay to take efforts and time to get there. There's things you can do to get there.
Yeah, and enjoy. Let's enjoy the ride. I mean, let's enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Again, growing up is not a magic time. It doesn't happen at quote unquote 18 or 21 or 25, whatever. There's no magic. It's a process, and maybe that's growing up is really what this life is all about. We're all growing up. So let's shift into the mode of being curious students through this school called life.
Yeah.
And hey, we're in this together.
We are.
Yep.
I think you've done it again.
I don't know about that, but it's fun. Strategies for Living is fun. You know, we do enjoy, folks, we do enjoy doing Strategies for Living with you and for you each and every day here on 1017 FM and 710 Keel. And we couldn't do it, of course, without you, and we couldn't do it without our fine sponsors because they make it possible. Azalea Cleaners and the Robinson Film Center and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX and Cannabis with Love, Hempress, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport, and the Shreveport Little Theater. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call and what would you say? And why? Why are you waiting? Make the call. For Jimmie Bryant, I'm David McMillian. See you next time here on Strategies for Living.